6 weeks ago, I met my last love. By last, I don't mean latest. I mean my first and final one.
Paul and Jean Medill and Annie Ainsley for Dwight Billings, please.
Well,
I met him through Jean. Jean collects people like a velvet evening wrap collects lint. I've always been the fifth wheel on the wagon. So that night was nothing new. Or so I thought.
Would you give the man your hand?
I walked down the longest hallway I'd ever seen. And suddenly you turn to your left and come down steps onto the floor of the drawing room. Every girl's glimpsed someone that she thought would have been just the right one for her. The moment that I saw Dwight Billings, I knew he was it.
My God, is there an end to this all? Dwight. How lovely to see you.
Jean. How are you? Paul.
This is Annie.
Hello, Annie.
Hello.
I've missed you. We were beginning to think you'd become a recluse.
Now, Jean, let's start on that again. Thank you, Luther.
I've heard so much about your lovely home, Dwight, and I must say it lives up to every word. How did you ever happen to get a hold of it?
An aunt. The right kind.
Old and rich.
Fond of me.
Dead.
She owned the place forever, and when she died 2 years ago, I found it on my hands.
Now, why don't I ever find things like that on my hands?
Why are your eyebrows up?
Are they up?
Yes, they're up.
Oh, he just seems so sad, don't you think? Didn't you notice?
I suppose so.
I don't think I've ever seen him so blue. It's probably some girl. It always is. Just be careful.
Jean, I'm the most careful girl you know.
Careful girls don't put their cigarettes out in martinis.
It was some girl, all right. Some girl who wore cheap perfume. I wondered who she was and what she did to make him feel that way. I didn't have to wonder for long. She stood there like a mannequin at a fashion display. Even the price tag was there in full view. It was inscribed, to the highest bidder, anytime, anywhere.
Billy!
They have the worst taste in women. All of them. Who is to explain their taste in women?
Mr. and Mrs. Stone.
I wanted you to meet my very new husband. Well, just breaking in, really.
You two should know each other.
Don't be bashful. Shake hands. Harry, Dwight.
You're a very lucky young fellow.
I feel like I know you already. I've heard so much about you.
Oh, it's very kind of Burnett. This is Annie Ainsley, Jean and Paul Medill.
Very pleased to meet you.
The pleasure's ours, I'm sure.
Hello. Luther, some champagne for Mr. and Mrs.
Stone.
I'd rather have my usual, Luther.
The air was so thick with cheap perfume you could cut it with a knife.
So where did you two honeymoon?
We took a run up to Lake Arrow.
Beautiful, isn't it, Harry? How is the old lodge? Is Emile still there?
Emil's still there.
Has he done anything about changing that god-awful wallpaper in the corner bedroom yet? He was always going to. It was yellow, and it looked as though somebody had thrown up all over it. Do you remember, Burnett?
We happened to be up there at the same time once. Vacationing.
At the same time.
I know you told me.
It wasn't that the husband didn't know about them. It was that he didn't want to be forced into publicly admitting that he did.
Well, we just thought we'd come by and say hello. Maybe we should be going. It was lovely meeting all of you.
Oh, yes. Wonderful.
Good night, Billy.
So long.
Well, it's getting late. We should go too.
Yeah, just look at the time.
Sure you don't want a refill?
Billy, would you please speak to Luther? He refuses to give me my coat.
Luther, is that Mrs. Stone's coat you're holding?
Of course it's my coat.
Read the label in the lining and see what it says.
Miss Burnett Brady.
Ah, yes. Miss Brady.
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
Take this with you. Use it.
What?
I'll call and make a quick appointment, and then the whole thing will be over in no time.
Why would I need a divorce attorney? This isn't funny.
I'm not trying to be funny.
Is Luther going to give me my coat back or not?
Come back for the coat, Burnett. It'll be here, waiting for you.
Why don't we be consistent about this?
Come on, Harry. What a charming couple.
Oh,